Hello everyone, I'm Chrissy and welcome to my show. Now on today's program we have love experts James and Helena Marques to help couples cope with the stress and strain that the Christmas period brings. So lots of help with the arguments and stuff that normally happens over Christmas. And we also have self-development coach Chris Browne on to talk about beating your competition. And returning to the studio, we have Ryan Boyle performing his song Heaven's Treasure and telling us more about his journey to raise awareness on pancreatic cancer. But first, we have the news with Ian and Helena.
Chrissy, hello.
Hello.
And I'm feeling particularly at home tonight.
With his cup of tea.
With my cup of tea.
Oh, so where's ours? You didn't even offer us one.
Well,
No,
we just get the water.
Typical.
Well, part of this tonight is one of the most successful videos I ever did on YouTube. Was actually showing people how to drink a cup of tea.
Oh really? I haven't seen that one.
This is true.
So go on then, show us. Forget the news.
We're here for the whole news.
No.
Let's
Forget the news, just show us quickly.
The way to drink a cup of tea, the royal way to drink a cup of tea is like this.
I do that anyway.
With the finger raised.
I do that. I'm royal.
And do you know what? Thousands of people have watched me talking about how to drink a cup of tea.
Oh,
so
that's lovely.
Good health.
Thank you.
Chin chin.
Now, do you have some news to share with us?
Yes, World AIDS Day has been celebrated. Obviously, Prince Harry heading that with his charity Centervale. But it's hashtag Feel No Shame, and they did a big thing. Well, Prince Harry started it. That everyone had to give a secret because AIDS is hidden and people are ashamed to actually talk about it. And that's the reason why things have escalated. Whereas if they could get help. So lots of stars and Prince Harry have been divulging their top secrets. And Prince Harry's, it's not such a top secret, I have to say. Prince Harry, I mean, there's only so much they can say, but he's absolutely petrified of public speaking.
Really?
Yeah, and he's so funny, isn't he? You wouldn't actually think. Yeah. But I think it's really, the statistics for that is really high. Okay. But when he's wearing a suit as well, if he walks into a room, he just really freaks him out. If he's in his casual gear, he's fine. Which is quite funny. But Joss Stone, who's obviously a very good friend of his, had a funny one that whenever she goes to a gas station to fill up or to just buy something, she has to use the loo. And it came about because she had a bit of an accident when she was younger, where she wet herself. Oh. But she was a lot younger, and she didn't ever want that to happen. So now she's absolutely paralysed. I couldn't think of anything worse than using the toilets in garages. Oh dear. The few I've used.
Well, since we're talking about secrets, let's anything you want to tell the viewers about
secrets?
About yourself? Nothing too deep, obviously. What's my hidden secret? Something that people don't know about you.
You go.
Avoiding the question.
That's a hard one.
I've got.
Have you?
Yes.
Actually, if you've got one, you tell us.
I like cold baked beans.
I love cold baked beans.
Oh, I thought that was my thing.
I'm really sorry.
I don't like them heated up. I just like them stone cold, straight from the fridge.
If I'm hungry, actually,
I just sit there with the tin actually and just eat them.
If we're talking about naughty secrets.
No.
This is food.
All right, okay, go on.
My favourite thing used to be that used to get the chocolate bar with the toffee.
Yeah, you had something to do with chocolate.
It's a very famous bar. And what I used to love is get hot custard and then pour hot custard over the bar as well. And it would all melt into this.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It is wonderful.
These are really not
they're not very good secrets. I'm not going to bother.
These are terrible
They don't want to tell.
I can't think of anything exciting.
All right, never mind.
Next time, I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'll forget by then. You know that. Never mind.
I'll remember.
What's the other news then?
Well, the Queen is usually responsible for handing out her honours, etc. But she's actually been given one herself, which is lovely.
And this is for
she's been given not by herself. Can you imagine? But she's been given it is for her equestrian sport. It's for her love of sport and the fact that she just knows horses completely inside out through the bloodline, how to look after them, and they really are. She was about to say eat, breathe, sleeps them, but she does, from a very, very early age. She loves horses, and she's been given an award. It's a white and gold diamond brooch, which is interlinked horses, by, I can't remember, she's a famous president of the first woman to represent Jordan internationally. But and it was in the audience room in Buckingham Palace, which is really nice. But it's quite funny to see her in like a casual beige sort of dress, because you normally see her in hats and three-piece look. But that's really nice.
Yeah.
The Queen surprised everyone last week. And so did some of the other members of the royal family by turning up at this small, tiny church in Gloucestershire.
In a place
What,
called
just
Cherrington.
No,
She thought, "I know where
nobody
I'll go
knew she
today."
was coming, other than because it was her
Zara Phillips and
Zara
Mike
Phillips, yeah.
Tyndall's daughter Mia's christening.
Oh.
But it's funny to turn up in Gloucestershire in Cherrington because no one knew.
So nobody knew that she was coming, and the whole story was recorded by this lady walking down the street, and she suddenly saw the royal car stop outside the local church, and out got the Queen. So she managed to get one photograph on her iPhone of the
so
Queen
lovely.
waving at her.
Has she sold the photograph?
I bet she hasn't.
Probably.
It would have been great to be there.
But could you imagine it?
Yeah.
Could you imagine it? She was just walking down the street, there's this tiny village, quiet little village, and all of a sudden the Queen steps out. So
It shows the difference actually of the normality of Zara as compared to siblings, etc. But she, the vicar apparently, who was holding the christening, didn't know, I think, how high profile it was. And when he knew, he was absolutely petrified, just in case something would happen. It's just that, oh my goodness, isn't it? Oh my goodness, what if?
Imagine it dropping the baby or something.
That's really funny. Oh, so
Victoria Beckham.
yes. Everything. Victoria Beckham is always in the news now.
Absolutely.
But she's doing so well. We have to be pleased for her.
She's a good businesswoman.
She is.
So I know her now as PIB.
Speak.
I know her now
Verbal
as...
diarrhea.
You want to
That's a good cold.
Yeah, she's got a cold and still wants to do all the news.
That's why have you noticed we're a little bit further away tonight?
It's true.
Go on in, we'll give you a chance to
Strange.
speak. Actually, someone told me that's in the studio that we don't let you talk enough.
But that was a long time ago. Since then, I sit back
can
quietly.
I say I agree with that?
This one, you can't get him to stop talking.
I've got a terrific story for you in the coming weeks.
Okay.
But I think I should break it tonight because I think it's a fabulous
Breaking
story.
news.
It's a breaking news story, this really amused me this week. And this was a story about Jon Snow, who is the major news presenter on Channel 4 News. And he's come out and he says that the women presenters spend far too long in the makeup room talking about themselves, and he never gets a chance to get in there. Now, trust me, viewers, is that a case with me?
He doesn't even get into the makeup room.
He doesn't. If you don't want to, it's great fun. It's all part and parcel of it, isn't it?
All I can say is, I just, as soon as I read this story, I burst out laughing. I was in the middle of a coffee shop, I burst out laughing, and I thought about you two.
We don't spend that long in the makeup room.
No. It's fun. It's a giggle.
Yeah,
It's chatty, isn't it? It's
Chance for the girls to get together, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So she's now known as POB, pain in bottom.
Oh.
Victoria Beckham, because that's how she's actually described herself.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
She was thanking everybody, including her parents, for putting up with her at this awards event the other night, and she was saying, she can be a real pain in the bottom at times, but David and her family and her parents have always supported her.
That's nice.
Oh.
I think we all can be at some point.
Yeah.
She won an award for Philanthropreneur of the Year award, which is a cross between a philanthropist and an entrepreneur. It's a hybrid. It's quite hard to say, philanthropreneur.
Philanthropreneur.
Well, I have heard she has trouble because she's such a
She has
workaholic.
trouble pronouncing it.
I don't. She works so hard, doesn't she? She actually doesn't sleep that many hours, but she takes so many pills, etc., to keep her going.
Vitamins.
Vitamins
okay.
and various, not anything
well,
too
she needs to
much.
get some sleep.
She does.
Well, you can have strange. I have a strange sleeping technique. Quite so you're looking at me now.
Share it with us.
Are you sleeping more?
No,
lately?
Have you noticed I'm all bouncy? It's the chocolate. It's the lack of chocolate at the moment. I actually have a sleeping pattern where I sleep for 4 hours, then I have to wake up for an hour and do something, then I go back to sleep again.
Why?
And it's a recognised sleeping technique. It's just something that's my sleeping pattern.
I've never heard of that. Where does that
Are
come
you sure
from?
that's not because you're looking at your iPhone?
No, I'm not looking at my iPhone at all. No, it's just it's a recognised.
But what's the
sleeping
benefit?
pattern. The benefit of it's me. That's the benefit.
Apart from you,
I'm bouncing along. Ever since I've changed my diet recently, I am absolutely. I wake up every morning. I'm happy. I'm bouncing. I love every single day. And do you know what I've had to cut out?
Chocolate. Have some plain chocolate.
No,
it's good for you.
With cocoa, high.
It's the sugar
cocoa.
thing. It's the sugar thing, I think. So, anyway,
Oh,
I
well.
digress.
Yes, do we have any time left? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. Well, as we were on the Victoria Beckham scenario, David Beckham and his son Brooklyn recently had a car crash.
Yes.
But they were very lucky. It was quite a bad car crash. But they survived and everything was great. But the poor woman that went into them, can you imagine getting out and realising it was Sam?
Well, congratulations, Helen, for getting that one in 20 seconds.
Yay!
Well done, she did it. She always managed to squeeze one more in. Thank you so much, and
No
we'll
problem.
see you again next time
Thank
on
you.
the show. Thank you. Well, do stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be speaking to the love experts, James and Helena Marques, and we'll also have our fitness tip from Jane Rafter on how to get fit.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Now, before we speak to our love experts, let's take a look at this fitness tip from Jane Rafter.
Hi guys, I want to talk to you today if you have tried and failed to get fit, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who can relate to that. You know, you might have had times where you've tried to join a gym and you haven't gone or whatever. So what you got to do is ask yourself why you failed and have a look at the logistics of it, because what a lot of people do is say, well, I'm going to go to 3 classes a week and I'm going to go 3 evenings a week and I'm going to get fit. But actually, the reality is that they can't fit those 3 evenings in. It's not realistic, and so they fail. So have a look and have a think about your own personality and realistically what you can do. Start with a small goal. So instead of saying I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, say I'm going to go once a week and maybe do a walk or something else and build it up slowly. Maybe you can look at morning exercise, lunchtime or weekends, you know, get a buddy to go with you, but really make sure that your goal is realistic and that it's going to logistically work for you. Put it in your diary and make it happen. Put a red ring around it, start with your small steps and build it up slowly and you'll get there.
Thank you very much, Jane. I'm sure that was very helpful. So now it's time to say hello.
Hi.
To very special people, James and Helena Marques. How are you?
Good, thanks for having us.
Very good.
Brilliant to have you on the
It's
show.
been a while.
It has been a while, hasn't it? Yeah. You keep dodging me. All right, so we're going to talk about, obviously, Christmas is coming up, and a lot of couples tend to argue around this time because obviously there's strains on the finances, maybe they're arguing about the in-laws and all sorts of things. So how do you reckon couples can prepare for this particularly stressful period? Well, that shouldn't really be, should it? But
Yeah, I think something I was thinking about this, and I think something very, very important is to remember that around this time there's a very famous office party, Christmas party at work. And you have to say to yourself that I'm not going to do anything here that compromises my relationship. Because when you know, if you do tend to drink a glass or 2 of wine more than you should, then you start doing things that you regret later, and then pictures go on Facebook and your girlfriend, your wife or husband asks, what was that about? And then you won't know what to answer. So it's very important to remember to act as if you are a person who's committed to someone, act dignified and don't do anything you regret. I think
that's quite a good point, actually.
Yeah, the office party is usually a villain around this time.
Because if something happens there, even if it's just a photograph of something, even if nothing was going on, but that could obviously bring tension in a relationship, and already the arguments have started even before Christmas Day.
Absolutely.
And then you start a brand new year in trouble.
Yeah, it's true.
But you know, not only what he said, but okay, it's a special time of the year where you get together with your family and everything. You expect gifts, but if you don't get anything, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's just a date. What matters is that you keep, you know, you have this thing with your family where you meet regularly. You don't have to wait just for Christmas for you to be with your family and to give each other gifts and things like that. So.
But what about in the case of a couple, though? Because I think a lot of people, they do expect like a gift from their partner, and it's not always taken nicely if they're not given one.
Maybe one of them needs to be more understanding, depending on their situation, their financial situation, and maybe they can't really afford it. So let's just be mature about it, and let's give each other's gifts on after January when everything goes on sale, for example.
It's not always the amount that matters. It's the thought, right?
Of course.
If you're in a,
I thought about you. Here's something from Poundland.
well, I would say it doesn't have. You don't have to put a tag saying this came from Poundland, right? But I think the thought process and how much you thought about that gift is more important sometimes than the value. So, maybe you really went through a lot of trouble to make the person feel special with that, although you may not have spent a lot of money. So I think that's important.
Okay then. And obviously on let's talk about the actual Christmas Day now. You've got maybe family that you don't like. Can I say this? Okay, family you don't get along with very well, that you'd rather not see too much, that come round to your house.
We understand.
And that obviously does put strain on the couple, especially if they're hosting Christmas Day. What advice would you give in that scenario?
There's a very good reason why diplomats are very well paid, right? And that's because they're paid to be diplomats, to avoid wars, to avoid problems, conflicts. So sometimes it pays to be a good diplomat in your family, to be the peacemaker. That's very important. So if you have someone in your family that you're going to spend a whole day with them or a couple of days with them, and they can be a little bit difficult to deal with sometimes, just take a deep breath, go to the kitchen, prepare hot chocolate or some mulled wine or whatever you're going to drink, and just cool down a little bit and be the peacemaker.
Yes, I completely agree with this one. Maybe it's the in-law, the mother-in-law, so famously, my mother-in-law, or it could be a cousin or something. Just, make them feel comfortable at home just for peace sake. And maybe the husband likes their company. Maybe it's you who don't like them very much, or vice versa. Just make sure you make everyone feel comfortable and just forget about everything, at least that day.
I was watching this, so I'm just thinking about this program that I watched. It's about medicinal sort of herbs, and hops.
Yes.
Apparently they're really good for making people go to sleep. So here's a tip for you. If someone's getting on your nerves over Christmas, you just get some and you put some in a little pillow and you just put it by their head, and they'll probably fall asleep within a couple of minutes. So that's a good one, isn't it?
Tip right there, Chrissy.
Hopefully that will avoid an argument or two.
But if a couple are sort of maybe it is sort of around the Christmas time and it's family around and there's strain in the relationship, but it's kind of hard to sort things out when there's other people around. What do you suggest in that case? Because obviously things have to get sorted out, but then the house is full. What would you say?
I think the important thing is for you to actually talk about what's going to happen before it actually happens. So if you're going to have 10 people, 20 people in your house for 2 days, and come evening you're going to have some family members sleeping on your sofa, others somewhere else. Just talk to your partner before that day actually comes and say, look, we're going to have 10 people, 20 people here. It's going to be a little bit stressful. Let's just take things easy. Let's not get stressed out about anything. And very, very important. If you are upset about something, you feel that you might need to talk to your partner without an argument, popping up in front of everybody, then just agree that if there is a problem, you guys will go outside or go somewhere for 5 minutes and talk about it rather than doing it in front of your family. That's very important.
Yeah. And just to finish this thing, for example, if you think that you're not able to behave normally around your guests because you're so upset about something happening in your relationship, then discuss it before, like he said, in a way like, are we really ready for this? Or am I gonna, because you don't know, depending on the person, she won't resist and she will start talking about her issues in front of people. She'll start discussing the relationship with her mom or her grandmother or whatever, and that's very disrespectful towards the partner. So what he said is okay, but also, are we ready to receive guests this year? And
This is the
not the
thing.
end of the world.
I think people need to be honest with themselves, and couples need to be honest with themselves, especially around this period. If you're having issues in your relationship already, that's already stress, that's already strain that the two of you need to sit and sort out. But then if you're going to invite every Tom, Dick and Harry. I know it's nice to spend with family, but is it really the right time to do that? And I think couples have to be honest with others, not say, oh, we're having problems, we don't want anyone round, but you can say, mum, dad, cousins, uncles, aunties, we'd like to spend Christmas by ourselves this year. You can even go away somewhere. We're gonna go away somewhere. We come and see you in the new year. So I think you just have to be very honest, because what's the point of putting that extra strain on your relationship when it's already things you really need to sort things out?
That's not a good move at all.
Alrighty, well thank you. I had the final word there. Any final tips? Any final tips for our viewers?
There was a question you sent me when we were preparing for the show that I think is very important to address, even though I don't have an answer for it. Okay. Let's just put it out there anyway.
All right. What is it?
You were asking, who do you spend Christmas with his parents or her parents? That's a difficult one, right? And I think perhaps the answer might be that you have to compromise a little bit and say, look, let's spend half the day or Christmas Day with your parents and Boxing Day with mine, and try to work out something there, but it could be a tricky one.
Alrighty. Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
And we'll see you again very soon, I hope.
Well, we're just waiting for your invitation.
All right.
You've been busy.
Thank you very much. Well, do stay tuned, because after the break, we'll have our self-development clinic with Chris Browne.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and now we're in the self-development clinic with Chris Browne. Hello.
Hi Chrissy, and it's a great period and it's a great time to be doing this, because we're talking about going into the new year soon, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So we're talking about going into new year.
Well, let's talk about Christmas first.
Christmas,
I haven't had Christmas. You're talking about New Year already.
That's the
What do you normally
bit.
do at Christmas time?
Normally Christmas, with my wife. Hang on, let me mention that again. You always said to me, with my wife.
Yeah.
I mentioned it again. You always say I mention that. Right. We either go by family or go away. Last year we went away to, remember, Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh yeah, you were actually away on Christmas Day, weren't you?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember
great.
you brought us back some lovely food. From
Oh
there.
yeah.
Wow.
Chicken, roti.
Chicken and roti.
Got me going
Why
there.
did you remind me?
Oh, we'll get some again.
But your birthday's on Christmas Day.
My
how'd
birthday
you cope
is
with that?
on Christmas. Shall I be really honest about that? Right, as a child, everybody was away at that time, right? So everybody made up for it. You didn't have the parties and all that, but everybody made up for it after. As you mature, everybody goes, hey Chris, there's your card with one Christmas, everything else on it. But it's good.
You didn't
it
get
doesn't
double
work me
gifts
that much.
You didn't get double gifts or anything?
I did. I used to always
you?
get double gifts. Yeah.
Not one gift.
Yeah.
Kill one bird.
No, double
Two
gifts.
birds, one stone.
Let me just say it to everybody: double gifts. Right? That's what I used to get. Don't break the habit.
Do you find Christmas stressful, or have you ever
Do I
found
find Christmas stressful? I think it can be for many people, to be honest, because that's a time where I heard earlier on, as James mentioned about the alcohol, people drinking and overdoing it, and family breakups through the pressures. I think there's a lot of stress around that time, to be honest. I mean, we may get my tongue in, right? We may talk about, all right, festive, it's great and all that, but you've got to think about a lot of people who are under pressure by the media and the adverts that go out saying, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me, and they can't afford to buy me. So, there's two sides to Christmas at the end of the day, but you've got to really work out, are you just going to buy?
Just cancel Christmas if you don't want to do it.
There you go.
It's okay.
There you go. Under pressure. Yeah. That's
simple. All right, so what we're going to
cancel
talk
it.
about today.
All right, what we're talking about today is how to actually beat your competitors. Now, in saying that itself, there's something I normally say, what comes out, which identifies already. Because, number one, first of all, you've got to identify who is your competitor. What is your competitor? So, something I always say, you're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with yourself. At the end of the day, you've got to be better than you were yesterday. Okay. All right? So we always got to remember that.
We're not going to talk about other people in this?
No, we're not. That's the real interesting thing about
it.
it. Yes, that's the twist about it, because the things you would do with other people, stop it. Take it back to yourself. Who are your competitors, right? So now you worked out your competitor already. It's you. You're in competition with yourself, right? Now, in saying that, you should be able to identify what is your weakness, right? Because usually you look at your competitor and think, all right, that's my opponent. That's what I'm up against. What's their weakness? What have I got to go for at the end of the day? No, turn it around. Look in the mirror. What is your competitor's weakness? It could be you're a procrastinator. That could be your weakness. It's delaying you from doing the things you should be doing. So you've got to look into yourself and think, well, I can improve on that. What do I need to actually improve? That's what we're really saying. What do we actually need to improve instead on ourselves? Now, taking that one step further, I'm actually looking down it because I put down some notes here, right? Okay.
Don't worry, I don't expect you to know all of them.
Oh, right then. Usually I do. Right. Okay, here we go. How to actually beat your competitors, right? How to beat your competitor. Right. Start to look at your attitude. What is your attitude like? What actually holds you back at the end of the day? Because it's your attitude that's actually going to take you to that other level. So you need to know, what is it that I actually need to tackle in there? Have I got a poor attitude? Do I look into the negative? Do I feel defeated? Or am I a person who's up, ready to go, make things happen? It's your life at the end of the day, all right? Now we're going through this quite quickly, but the last one I'll say is this, which is not the last one, don't worry, your eyes. I should say the final real point about this is your challenge, right? So saying what I've just said about the other three is this. Your challenge is to actually set a list of the things you've actually got to challenge your competitor, right? So you think about it, all right, so I don't like taking chances. That is a weakness in your competitor, which is you. Now it's time to take risk, right? Because time doesn't stand still. And if you don't take a risk, you'd always look back and think, if only I'd done it back then, if only this, if only that, and nothing happens at the end of the day. So start taking risk as well. Back to the same one again. Look at your weakness. What is your weakness? Is it your procrastination? Is it your delay? Is it your lateness? What is it? You know, you need to better that as well, right? Let's go through each one and then put them together and realize, look, I've got this written down. I've made a commitment, I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to challenge myself. Challenge myself to be better than I was yesterday. If you do that each day, space of 2 weeks or a month, you've excelled already.
Now you do talk about this in some of your other sections,
Sure.
like about not, you know, you should compete against yourself. Why is it that it's not good to compete with other people?
Right.
Just to make it clear to our viewers, because sometimes they say, you know, you get parents, for example, telling their kids, oh, you know, you need to be better than everyone else.
Right.
You need to, and it's damaging in a way, isn't it?
It's very self-defeatist. It could bring up a lot of insecurities because there is always going to be someone better than what you do than you. That is a fact. But it depends on your mental attitude. If you're looking at a person as a good marker, as a model, very good.
Yeah.
If you're looking at, I've got to beat them, you're going to be frustrated forever because after you beat them, who are you going to beat next? After you beat them, who are you going to beat next? Now, if you spent the time working on yourself, you would far exceed those people that you're actually trying to beat, right? And plus, it removes the negative, you know, the envy, the jealousy, the grudges, that sort of thing, which is not healthy in any kind of way. Some people might say in business, well, yes, it's good to have that. You've got to go get it and go for it. Personally, I don't believe that, you know, because I've seen people personally actually know who actually work on themselves quite a lot and have excelled so far. And you think, well, what's different about them? And that's what it tends to be. You know, so this thing, yes, you're right. It's right from school. Be better than the rest. Be better than the rest. Yes and no, right? If it's a marker and say, I need to set a standard to say to reach that person, that's great. If it's competing with them all the time and not working yourself, you're at a loss. Yeah, so.
And I think something else that's really important is that if and when you do become successful, to actually share and try and teach others, because there's some people that would say, okay, I'm successful, I'm not going to teach anyone what I know because I want to always be at the top and stuff. That's such a selfish attitude to have.
It is.
And the thing is, you lose respect, even though you think people might not find out. But the fact is that if you don't share, you will lose respect anyway, and you probably come down anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you know, I remember I tweeted something about that, and what it was saying is that those who think they know everything must remember where they learnt it. So that's a bit humbling because you've got to remember you started somewhere at one point. If you don't think about where you learnt it, you couldn't get in the position of somebody else trying to learn. You know, and the worst thing is to go to somebody and think, well, I want to learn this from you. And that person kind of, well, steps in you, let me show you how. Don't you know that? That's the worst thing somebody can do. And sometimes you get that attitude. It's better that person, let's go to the person who says, yeah, let me share that with you because they're quite knowledgeable. They're going to get more of it anyway. So let me just share it with you. A lot better. Be aware of where you're actually learning from.
Yeah, and share.
Share. That's it, especially at Christmas.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right. Chris, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again next time. And do have a lovely, peaceful Christmas. I'm going to see you before
you
anyway.
have a great Christmas
All right,
as well.
thank you. All right, well, do stay tuned because after the break, I'll be speaking to Ryan Boyle, who who'll be performing his song Heaven's Treasure and telling us more about his journey to raise awareness on pancreatic cancer.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and I'm very happy to introduce again to Ryan Boyle, who's been on before and he's come to tell us his progress. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Chris. Lovely.
How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to cover a bit of your story again, because obviously maybe we've got some new viewers, I'm sure we do, that don't know about your story. But can you tell us where it all began for you?
Yeah, my mum was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in March, and she started having treatment and stuff for chemotherapy, but obviously it was too advanced. And 3 months later, she died at home in my arms. And for me, I needed to give something back, to the community. And because my mum said to me, son, you've got talent there. Go back into what you're best at, and use it wisely.
Yeah.
So,
what had you been doing up until then? Were you into music then, or had you stopped?
Oh yeah, I've always loved music, but obviously I wasn't doing anything musical then. And with obviously the loss of my mum, it was really her who got me back into it. And obviously I wrote the song Heaven's Treasure, and I've done the whole album, and that'll be released soon.
What's Heaven's Treasure actually about? Right?
Heaven's Treasure is it's a personal song. It's about mine and my mum's life.
Okay.
It's a journey. It actually tells the whole story.
Can you tell us about your relationship?
I mean about the song.
Yeah, the relationship with your mum.
The relationship with me and my mum. We weren't just like a mother and son. We were best friends. We did everything together, literally. People if we'd go out drinking, or anything like that, people would hear us before they'd see us. They'd know we were walking in. It was such a big, bubbly character, and everyone always says to me, mother will never be gone. Well, you're still here, and it's nice to hear, even that's like sort of from the older generation sort of side of things, and it's really nice.
Okay, so you based the song on her.
I did, yeah, and it was about both our lives, really.
Okay.
Because we've been through quite a lot of rough times together. And like we said earlier on about families and stuff, there's always a riff in someone's family somewhere along the line. And I just put pen to paper and I wrote all about it. Okay.
And did you find that the words came quite easily when you were writing it?
At the beginning, no. I ended up getting really depressed.
But writing the song, really?
Yeah, really depressed, and it wasn't actually really to write the song. I was just basically writing, and then when I read it back, and I thought maybe I could write this into a song, and that's how I did. And because I've got a friend in America called Quentin, and he helped me obviously put things together, and Heaven's Treasure came out of it, and I was so delighted with it.
It's a great song. It's really great, which the viewers are going to hear in just a moment. How's it been doing?
It's doing really well. On Saturday, early hour Saturday morning, it was released into the Reverb Nation charts, and it went in at number 20, and then by Monday, it's number 3, and it's still at number 3.
Wow, brilliant.
So, and I've had lots of obviously celebrities and stuff tweeting it out and getting it out there, because obviously I'm donating it all obviously to Pancreatic Cancer Research Fund.
So why did you decide to do that? Why was that so important for you to do?
Because obviously it's the 5th biggest cancer killer in the UK, but yeah, it's the poorest fundus, and there's no money goes into it. And when I looked into it, and I've obviously I found the charity, Pancreatic Cancer Research Fund. I contacted the lady who set up her own charity. Yeah. And she puts everything into it. She's got no overheads, no nothing. Every penny goes into pancreatic cancer.
Is that the founder of the charity?
Yes.
Does she have a personal connection to cancer herself?
Yeah, she lost her husband to it, to pancreatic cancer, and then obviously she opened her own charity up. And so obviously I've been doing that for her, and because it just means the world to me to know, because there's, like obviously while I'm sat here talking to you, someone probably getting diagnosed with it, or in a different type of cancer, it's constantly, all we ever hear nowadays is, the C word. Yeah. Especially obviously this pancreatic, it needs need to bring it to the public eye more, because there is signs and symptoms, but obviously they're always brushed off because it's always like, oh, you've got irritable bowel syndrome, or you've got this. But it's not. It's the starting of pancreatic cancer.
Yeah. And Ryan, what are your future plans to do this? Because obviously I know you're really like into helping this charity and everything. What are your future plans concerning that?
Well, obviously I'm going on. Obviously, I'm nearly finished this album, but I added a few more tracks to it.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm not doing like a soppy album, that sort of thing. That's not my character. It wasn't my mum's character. There's some really, really good dance songs with the pop songs as well in there. And I think the song after, obviously, Heaven's Treasure is Criminal on the Dance Floor, which is...
Was that you?
Yeah, me grooving away when I'm out.
Okay.
And it's absolutely amazing. The people who have heard it said to me, what an amazing album. People who have said, I've heard the majority of the songs. And obviously I will continue, using my voice, my talent that my mum blessed me with, to obviously raise as much money as possible and awareness for Pancreatic Cancer Research Fund. Okay. And I'm also going to the acting side of things as well, so people have to just watch out for that though. All
right, Ryan, thank you so much for coming back to the studio and talking to us again. It's been great, and all the best with everything you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me, Chrissy.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, so we have reached the end of today's program. But if you want any information about the guests that we've had on today, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And if you'd like to email me, you can do so on chris@chrissybshow.tv. But now it's time for us to hear Heaven's Treasure. Let's go over to Ryan Boyle.
Everything you've given to me was so kind and so sweet. Having you, Mom, was one of the greenest things. Through tough times, through bad times, that was truly the design. Like a pearl in the ocean, you were one of a kind. As I make my journey, you will guide. I know you're up there watching and showing the way. Strength and courage, I know you would see that I was a soldier with my head held high. There's no price on the love that you have. You are heaven's treasure. You are heaven's treasure. There's no price on the love that you have. You are heaven's treasure. You are heaven's treasure. There's been so many bad times that can take us out. Rainy days try to come with dark clouds. It's up to me now to be a soldier and fight with strength. What you instilled in me since my birthday, the lessons I've learned can never be replaced. I owe everything to you for what I am today. No, I will not be discouraged or weak when I'm sad. The future will never resemble my darkest past. Oh, there's no price on the love that you have. You are heaven's treasure. You are heaven's treasure. There's no price on the love that you have. You are heaven's treasure. You are heaven's treasure. Gotta keep going, I gotta stay strong. Never give up, keep going along. When times were bad, no one wanted us. You never let us wrong. I gotta keep going, I gotta stay strong. Never give up, keep going along. All the words you told me, they stuck in my mind like a song. There's no price on the love that that you have. You are heaven's treasure. You are heaven's treasure. There's no price on the love that you have. You are heaven's treasure. You are heaven's treasure.
Speaking to Dr. Rob Hicks about his condition.
This condition.
I'm still sedated. I was under sedation today, I'm not joking.
What did you do?
I had a procedure.
Oh,
That's why I'm a bit crazy today, I'm sorry. I'm starting to feel the effects.